With photography, you can never have too much control over your lighting. I recently decided to invest further in creative lighting by picking up 2 RGB tube lights by Suit Photo for a photo shoot. I want to share the lessons I learned using LED lights as my main light source for the first time. For over 12 years of portrait photography, I primarily have used studio flashes or natural ambient light as my main sources of light. Before we get to the lessons that I've learned from my photo shoot, let me tell you about the lights themselves. Suit Photo's TS25 tube lights are large handheld wands that produce 2600 lumens of RGB light and are 24 inches long. They have a CRI rating of 98 and the color temperature can be adjusted from 2800 to 10,000 Kelvin. Each light has a built-in rechargeable battery that lasts up to 3 hours on full power. The Suit Photo supports RGB CW mode, HSI full color mode, FX special effects mode, and OTC model for lighting effect modes, which gives you hue, brightness, and saturation adjustments. They are made of sturdy PVC and metal. Also, there is a 1/4-inch screw hole at the both ends of the light, so you can either handhold it to shoot or have it attached to a tripod or C-stand. Making it easy to use, the TP25 tube lights have LCD displays to set the parameters and the handle buttons. You can even use the SSLED Video Light mobile app to change the settings from your phone. The light supports 10 scene modes and up to 360 color variations, including cinema scenes, fire truck scenes, fast RGB scenes, SOS scenes, candlelight scenes, and much more. Aside from portrait and product photography, the Suit Photo TP25 tube lights is suitable for self-broadcasting, live streaming, makeup, YouTube videos, vlogging, filmmaking, and much, much more. With that said, let's get to the lessons that I learned after using LED lights as my main light source for the first time. Well, an obvious lesson was that using LED lights provides you a consistent amount of light, meaning that whatever you see is what you're going to get, whether it be the intensity, the color variations, or how the light falls across your subject's face or body entirely, you can see what you're about to get. So that makes it really easy to set up. One drawback is that, well, you're going to need more consistent amount of power, meaning that if you put it on full power, they're going to drain a lot faster than studio lights may, because with studio lights, even if they're battery powered, only uses a split second of power at a time. Whenever you take that photo, the flash bursts and there's the power being drawn. So therefore, they're going to last way longer than these LEDs would if they're just sitting constantly on. So that's what you have to watch out for. The biggest thing that I noticed immediately was how much less intensity of light that these LEDs or any LEDs in general produce. In order for me to get pound for pound the amount of power each flash, my studio flashes produce with an LED, I would need maybe a 600 watt LED. Not saying that these weren't bright, they absolutely were, but when it comes to photography and shooting in a studio space, I'm shooting more at f8, f11 a lot of times for my studio portraiture work. For sure, with LED lights, that wasn't the case. Being that LED lights are a less intense light source than a studio flash, I had to dramatically change the style of my shooting, and most importantly, my camera settings. I had to shoot with a much slower shutter speed than I'm normally used to. If I was to retain my normal shutter speed when I'm using studio strobe, that would be about 1/60th of a second, 200th of a second, something along those lines, or 1/25th, because the strobes produce such a light that it's going to freeze my subject pretty much 9 times out of 10. Unless they're moving extremely fast, ergo working with athletes. But with LED lights, if you shoot like that, you're going to get, well, motion blur, quite honestly. And the second thing is that in order for you to maintain a shutter speed that would stop motion, I had to shoot at a much higher ISO setting than I normally would have. And inside of a studio setting with a studio strobe, I'm shooting at ISO 100 all day. But I had to boost it up to compensate For the less intensity light source that LEDs produce, and I wanted to keep the shutter speed up high enough, therefore I increased the ISO high enough to compensate, all right, because my aperture level could only go up so high before it's just completely dark. All right, depending on how I'm shooting with these LED lights. So therefore, the only two things I could adjust after the aperture is shutter speed or ISO. Because of the settings and adjusting everything, the shutter speed and ISO, I had to open up my lens way more than I normally would in a portraiture work, which means I'm going to be having to produce images using a shallower depth of field. In my case, I had to drop it down to more to f4, 3.2, so I get a good amount of light, not bad ISO, and fast enough shutter speed so I could freeze the subject in case she blinks or moves or anything like that. So if you're looking to use LED lights, I think they're a fantastic option. It provided me so much creativity in just 2 units. I can change the color. I can go to daylight. I can go to a tungsten. I can flip the scene and go creative with these RGB colors. And it was really fun to use, quite honestly. And I'm planning on using them more. For sure, I'm going to be using them for product photography and beauty photography work. They're just fun. Believe it or not, when you're not going to be working with these here they are right here. You're not going to be working with these at full blast. So therefore, they're going to last a long time. I've been recording this video on and off for the past hour, and they haven't even touched my first notch. Just realize your approach, if you're coming out of studio portraiture work, it's going to be completely different. Okay? There's a small learning curve, but once you're past it, they're super fun. What's the light source you prefer to use for your portraits? Have you ever tried using LED lights to take your photos? Please post a comment and let me know down below. Click the link in the description section to check out more details about the SuitPhoto TP25 RGB LED tube lights for yourself. I also have a link for you to check out the photos that I took using these lights. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more, don't forget to press that like, share, subscribe, and of course, smash that bell icon to get notifications of my upcoming videos. I'm Robert Silver, and until next time, keep shooting and stay creative.